Chapter 2, May 23rd, 1985. Rick sat by the water, the porch light splintering across the ripples. The night was quiet, but it wasn't peaceful. Quiet was just the moment before it always got bad. He heard noise from inside the house, but no garage door. His father was still at work, which meant it would be her. The patio slider hit the stopper hard. His mother stepped out with a highball in one hand and a man dangling from the other like he'd been caught on a hook. "There you are," she said, gin hot on her breath. "Hiding, just like your dad." The man gave Rick a jittery half-smile, then studied the pool as if it was a homework assignment. "Where the fuck is that piece of shit husband of mine?" she asked. "He's working," Rick said. Quiet. He knew to start there. "Of course he is." Ice ticked in the glass. Any man passed over that many times would have blown his brains out by now. But not him. He laps it up like the cuck he is. Heat rose in Rick's chest. Old wiring, same spark. He kept his shoulders still. He didn't give her the flinch she was hunting for. She saw the fist anyway, smiled. "Oh, did I hurt your feelings? You want to say something? You think you can?" He watched the water instead of her, counted 3 ripples, then 4. He pressed the heat down till it set. "That's what I thought," she said. "Pussy, just like your father." She lingered in the doorway, lips curling. "And if your father calls, tell him I'm fucking someone in our bed. Tell him not to rush home unless he wants to see how a real man fucks me." She yanked her guests inside. Laughter echoed behind them. A few minutes later, the bedroom light upstairs flashed on. Rick waited a few minutes, then dialed his father. He picked up on the 3rd ring. "She's drunk," Rick said. "She's with another man in your bed." Silence that wasn't empty. Paperwork on hold, a hand over the receiver, eyes on the carpet, then a long exhale. The line went dead. Rick hung up, went inside, and moved through the dark space he'd known his entire life. Upstairs, unhurried, into his room, he sat on the bed facing the door and waited. Waiting felt like holding his breath with his whole body. He couldn't remember a time when she wasn't like this. The yelling, the insults. "I won't have a useless teenager in my house." The locked doors, the constant terror of making a mistake. When he was 11, he went to the doctor to have a boil removed. The pain was blinding, but what stayed with him was the conversation after. The doctor quietly asked if he was worried about anything. His mother answered for him, smiling as she brushed it off, as if he wasn't even there. Other nights it came out in company. She'd laughed as she gutted him, a jab about his job, a dig about his silence. Whispers pitched just loud enough to carry. People laughed along. His father had shrunk, growing smaller every year. Rick hated her for the cruelty. Hated his father even more for never stopping it. If she wouldn't change, then they had to. He waited. The clock ticked louder than usual. He'd been fascinated with guns for as long as he could remember. Got his first when he was 16. Dad didn't get it. "Why do you need a gun?" he'd ask. Like I needed a reason other than being American. Dad hated guns. But really he hated anything too masculine. Anything that reminded him of what he wasn't. The range had been my place, not his. It smelled of oil, cordite, and shredded rubber. Men stood in lanes, squared off, eyes forward, hearing protection tight. Precision, control, masculinity defined. Everything Dad wasn't. He'd never gone, not once, until I made it a project. Made him my project, really. The first time was punishment disguised as bonding. His hands sweated so bad the grips gleamed. He lined up, squeezed, and the recoil kicked like it wanted to be free. The gun jumped from his slick palm, hit the bench, then the floor. Metal on concrete. A clean ring that stopped every lane cold. The range officer's head snapped up. A few guys tried to swallow their laughs, turned them into fake coughs. I felt the heat crawl up the back of my neck, picked up the gun, set it on the bench, gentle like it might still go off. But he came back, Wednesdays, then Saturdays. He learned to dry his hands, to breathe in, hold, press, and let the shot happen instead of forcing it. The trembling eased, the misses turned to almosts. The day it changed, his father lifted the pistol and settled into himself. Sights even, shoulders low, one round punched dead center. He reloaded without comment and put the next round through the same hole. Then another. 6 shots made a single chewed coin in the paper. He set the pistol down. No grin, no swagger, just a small nod, like he'd finally shaken hands with a part of himself he needed. For the first time, pride swelled in Rick clean. He could stand beside his father under the humming lights and not feel ashamed of the man he would become in the world. That was when Rick understood. Strength with control held tight, silence kept absolute, and pain carried alone. The front door opened without the garage. Parked on the street, he thought. Smart. Upstairs, the music and laughter swallowed the house. Footsteps on the carpeted stairs. They stopped at Rick's door. He thought he'd fold it again. A breath hung in the air for a second, then moved on. The bedroom door cracked hard against the stopper. His mother's voice went up. "What the fuck are you doing? Get out. Get the fuck." 2 shots. A brief silence. 4 more. Slower and measured, like a metronome that never misses. Something heavy hit the floor. The air shifted, powdery and heated, rolling down the hall like bad weather on a prairie plain. A few minutes later, Rick's door opened. His father filled the frame. He had always been tall, but he never looked it. Years of slouching had kept him smaller on purpose. Now, for the first time, he stood like he wasn't afraid, filling the space around him like a man should. "It's done," he said, voice level. "It had to be. Everything's set up for you. When the lawyer knows what to do, go across the street. Call the police. I'll wait here." Rick's mouth shaped a word, then didn't. He nodded. "It's okay, son." A tired smile made him look younger. "I'm going to wait for them. Go now. Don't turn around." Rick stepped past him. He didn't run. He didn't even hurry. Each stair took his weight and gave it back. In the foyer, he paused to listen to the filter whispering at the pool. He opened the front door and stepped onto the porch. The boards were warm through his jeans, and he sat. Everything was coming together. Not like a plan he'd made, but like one that he had always been there, waiting for someone to stop pretending otherwise. The shot came a few minutes later. He didn't flinch. A single period at the end of a long, badly written paragraph. Rick bowed his head. Not in prayer, just so the world wouldn't tilt. After a while, he stood and went back inside because someone had to. His father lay on the bed, pistol slack in his right hand. In the left, a photograph, a sunlit yard, 3 faces squinting at a future none of them could see. Rick searched through his dad's jacket, found the wallet, and a crumpled pack of Marlboros. Fuck me, he thought. Never thought you had it in you. At least you went out a man. He went back to the porch. He lit a cigarette. Drew the smoke until it sat. He let it out in a thin ribbon that rose into the warm night like it had nowhere else to be. Then he dialed. "I want to report a murder-suicide," he told the operator. "My dad killed my mom. I'm at 2293 Proto Crescent, Seattle." The first cruiser rolled up soft. No lights, no siren. The second brought a paramedic who crouched on the bottom step with her palms open like she was trying not to startle a stray. "Can you tell me your name?" she asked. "Rick." "Rick, have you had anything to drink tonight?" He looked at the cigarette, at the stillness of his own hand. "No." Inside, voices lowered themselves on purpose. Latex, radio static, and the quiet scraping of care. The paramedic glanced at her partner. "Disassociation," she said, barely above a whisper. "Shock." Rick didn't correct her. The shock was sudden. This was the door they'd been waiting to swing. It felt like the pool at night, flat on top and deep beneath. He sat while they made their shapes around him. He answered what he was asked. He didn't offer. He was already focused beyond today. to his life starting anew. Today his life changed. Today he learned what it means to be a man. He closed his eyes and whispered to himself, "Thank you, Dad. Your sacrifice won't go to waste. I'm going to be every bit the man you should have been. I used to wonder how a wolf like me came from your DNA. I always thought I took after Mom. This probably twisted me up before I even realized who I was. Women like her are everywhere now. They drain men, laugh at them, gut them in front of company. They make men small, and the world cheers them on. Turns out you were the wolf all along, trapped by a bitch wrapped in a sheep's cloak. Thank you, Dad. I'm going to make you proud." Later, after statements in time marked by bad coffee and worse chairs, an officer offered him a blanket he didn't need. Everyone handled him like glass with a hairline crack that might run if he sat him down wrong. He nodded. He thanked them. When they left him alone, he stood in the doorway and looked down the hall towards the bedroom, then away. The house held still, waiting to learn what kind of a man would live here now. Strength, he thought. Quiet, control, paid for. He went out back, switched off the pool light. The yard went dark. The calm stayed.